Hey Tarot friends, it's Jade here with Tarot Your Truth. Welcome back to my channel, and I am going to do a walkthrough of this deck, which I've had for quite a while now, so many months. This is the Game of Thrones Tarot, if you haven't guessed by the back. I've thrown the box out, so I don't have that with me. I've had this deck, like I said, for quite a while. It came in one of those really wide boxes that just takes up way too much room, so I have a tarot pouch that I am using temporarily until I make another one that's going to be better for this one. And my son is bitching about the internet. Sorry for the swearing. All right, so one of the things I love about these cards is that it is, I don't know if you can see that, but it is linen cardstock. There, you can see it better there. So I know I've done, I have done a walkthrough of this deck before, but I did it, actually I'm going to do it this way, but I did it, I think as part of another video where I was talking about something else, and so it's hard for people to find, and I was asked about this, so here we go. I really love this. I think now this version with the linen cardstock is not available anymore. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard, is that it just comes on smooth cardstock. I don't know if it's shiny or matte or what, but this is a deck that I bought because I'm a massive fan of the Game of Thrones franchise. And I know if I've shown you some of the bobbleheads that I have. But yeah, so I was gonna buy it regardless, just as a keepsake, sort of fun item, I guess. And what I found was that this deck is actually pretty amazing. I get I get really great readings with this deck, which it actually quite shocked me. I'll show you the book once we're going through this. I think that they chose the right characters for the specific cards. They do reuse characters, so you'll see there's Arya. She's in a few cards. Most of the characters are in a few cards, and I guess that's the one thing that sort of bothers me. There's so many characters in this series that they could have chosen more. They could have added more characters. However, one of the reasons that I like that is that they choose a particular character for that card at that specific time of their life, of the series. And so what happens is that you really see the growth of the character through the deck. You know, Tyrion, for example, starts off as the fool, and he totally was the fool. He was a drunken fool at the beginning, and then you see him in repeated cards throughout the deck, and that he really does change. So I think this deck is amazing if you are also a fan of the series and know the series, because you'll be able to recognize some of the scenes and know exactly what's going on even without looking at the book. I think that if you don't know the series at all, then this might be a tough go. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you just won't have that instant recognition, I guess, that there's Arya again, and this is the perfect time when she exemplifies the 5 of coins. In my opinion, of course, everything I say here is my opinion, so if you disagree, that is absolutely fine. And I was having a discussion with someone about this card, and they just could not believe that Littlefinger was chosen to be the magician. In my opinion, he is actually the best character to play the magician, because what was he if not completely resourceful? Like, he wanted something and he made it happen, right? Like, right through until the very end. He really exemplified what that magician, who, remember, is also a trickster. So in my mind, that was a perfect choice. Liz Dean wrote the card meanings for this deck, which was published by HBO. And, you know, she's no stranger to tarot. She knows a thing or two. And she did an amazing job. So there's the cards. I'm gonna, actually, let me just see if I have I should have pulled out the book first. Okay. The booklet looks like a hardbound book. Well, it is a little hardbound mini book, pretty much the same size as the cards. So that's cool. You get a picture of the card, the title, the key meanings, the upright, and then also reverse meanings. Okay? Now, the one thing that bugs me, so that's for the majors. When we get to the minors, it is the same thing, except you're getting less than you are for the majors, which is pretty typical. And exactly the same in terms of key title, key meanings, upright, and then reverse meanings. However, especially if you're not a crazy fan like I am, and you don't recognize the specific scene that actually is happening. I don't know why I remember, I just do. Probably just because I love this show so much. But if you're not crazy like me, then the little description, can you see the tiny writing that's right below the card? It actually tells you what the scene is, which then sparks your intuition. That is really important info. Let's see if I can focus this. There we go. Right? So it just tells you what was happening in the scene, which I think is pretty key information. So I wish it wasn't so small. I wish even the rest of the text wasn't so small. I can see, like, my eyesight's fine, but I do still have to squint. So I can't even imagine, you know, people who do have some sight issues, how they have to squint at this. Anyways, it's pretty Rider Waite Smithish, so, you know, you read it once and then you're probably good to go. You do get several spreads at the front of the book, and I've done them all at this point. I like them, you know. I like them. They're specific for the deck, and that's awesome. Anyways, I love the linen cardstock, and this was my favorite cardstock until I got the 5-cent tarot, which is also linen cardstock, but I'll show you the difference. Anyways, shuffling is amazing. Look at that. I have a hard time doing the riffle, or the bridge part of the riffle, so. But they are, you know, they're bendable. They're thick, but they're still bendable, which is awesome. Kind of hard to see the thickness there, but it's pretty good. I haven't edged this. Probably I may at some point. I don't know. But anyways, so what I wanted to say about the cardstock is that I guess there must be different grades of linen finish. Can you see it? I think you could see it better here. Yeah, you can see it there. it is awesome. Like, they're so nice to hold. They're so nice to shuffle, even if you're just, you know, shuffling hand over hand. They're awesome. But it actually doesn't hold a candle to the 5-cent tarot finish. That linen finish just seems finer. But for some reason, I love the shuffling of that more. And the feel of those cards more than I do these ones. So I like them both, but yeah. Anyway, so there you have it. There's the Game of Thrones. If you have this deck, I'd love to hear from you as to what you think of it. Is it just a souvenir kind of thing to keep on the shelf as a reminder of the series, or you know, or like me, do you find that it gives you actually pretty in-depth readings? I just realized my fingers are blue, and that is, I think, from a deck that I just edged, which I thought was dry, but now I'm realizing I guess it wasn't. So I apologize for that. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you, and I really need to start using this deck again. I really do. Anyways, until next time, my friends, tell your truth.